How's it going, guys? Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the Volle Golf Ball review. I'm a little bit late to the party with this, as I think everyone's sort of got on really well with this ball so far from what I've read on all the reviews. Obviously we're in level 4 lockdown, so this won't be sort of on course, although I have played 2 9-hole rounds with the Volle Golf Ball, and it did perform quite well. I've also got flight scope numbers to share with you, so against the 2019 Pro V1X. So yeah, we'll just do some putting indoors and we'll talk about the feel off the putter compared to a Pro V1. We'll also do some wedge shots. So I've got a little bit of a front garden there, so we can do little sort of 30 to 40 yard pitches, little chips, and we'll just talk about the feel and the sound off the wedge compared to a Pro V1 as well. Then I'll go through the numbers with you. Talk about how it performs. I used a gap wedge 52 degrees and I also used a 7-iron ping eye blade, and we'll talk about the numbers and the differences there. I didn't have time to do a driver on flight scope, so we just have to sort of go with the machine testing that they did at Volle, which seems pretty good anyway. And then we'll just talk about the good and bad parts of the ball and finish up with a conclusion. So yeah, let's get into the putting. Right, so that's the putting done. I would say in terms of feel, compared to the Pro V1 2021, the new ball, that the Pro V1 is a lot softer this year than the previous year. They've obviously redesigned the cover and that, so I would say it's not as soft as a Pro V1. It's a little bit harder, but it's not as hard as the Pro V1X, so it sort of sits right in between, which is quite nice. It's a nice feel, yeah, it is a good feel. The only other thing I have noticed with the Volle ball is the lineup line. If you actually draw a permanent line on it, which is what I usually do, it actually lines up with the name of the ball, so a little bit annoying. I don't know, it's a bit weird, but most people probably wouldn't even care about that. So next, we're just going to go outside, hit some wedge shots, and compare the sound and feel again against Pro V1 2021. Okay, so we've had a look with the wedge. Same again, really. It feels harder than the Pro V1, but it's not as harsh as the Pro V1X. It also sounds a little bit clickier as well. It doesn't sound like as soft a ball as the Pro V1. The Pro V1's cover, I think, has been made a lot softer this year, so that has made quite a bit of difference. The Volle golf ball does feel nice off the face, but yeah, it makes a bit more of a clicky noise and feels a little bit harder. Performance off the wedge does match up to the flight scope numbers, so I found that this is slightly lower spin than a Pro V1X, obviously the X being the spinnier ball around the greens than the Pro V1, so it might be a little bit closer with the normal Pro V1, but I did find that the Volle ball does not check up as much as the Pro V1's. That could be down to the cover being quite a little bit harder or more durable, so it's not biting into the grooves as much. But yeah, it's still a good performing ball. At the end of the day, it's still a premium tour ball. You're still going to get a hell of a lot of control. If you're not currently using a tour quality ball with a urethane cover, then going to this for this price is going to be a massive upgrade for you. So still, yeah, a very good ball. Okay, so we'll have a look at the flight scope data now. So in blue, we've got both of the gap wedges. Obviously, one at the top is Pro V1X and one at the bottom is the Volle. So we'll just look. I've obviously picked equivalent strikes, as good strikes as I can get out of the data. I probably hit 15 wedge shots all up for each club, for each ball, and then just picked the best. So I've ended up with 6 that sort of were the best. So yeah, as you can see there, we've got club data with the Pro V1X, 85 mile an hour on average. Same with the Vol. So ball speed, obviously the smash is coming out a little bit better on the Vol ball. I don't know why with the flight scope sometimes it measures that our club speed is a little bit faster than it actually is. So, and when the ball speed doesn't come off, it gives us low smash readings. So anyway, so yeah, I wouldn't read too much into that. I would say club speed is exactly the same. We're getting near enough the same distance. And carry there on those. So let's move to the next screen. And we can look at the spin. So the spin with the Pro V1X, we're getting 10,060 on average. Spin with the Vol ball, we're getting 9.5, near enough 9.6. So that's about right, and that ties in with the machine testing that they did. They reckoned it was about 400 RPMs ish less than a Pro V1X or Torby X. I think it was a Torby X ball, basically, in spin numbers with a wedge. So we can look at launch. The other thing I noticed is the Vol ball seemed to launch higher, and I noticed this on the course as well. It seems to launch a little bit higher than the Pro V1 and the Pro V1X, and you can see that in the numbers as well. So Pro V1X was 32, and it's launching 33. So it's very minimal, but it is something that you can notice there. Next numbers we've got is, so again, you can look at the height there. So you've got the height on the Pro V1X. We've got 101 there, and you've got 108 on the Vol ball. So the Vol ball is going higher, which is, like I said, it launches higher and seems to fly a bit higher as well. So, and I've obviously delivered the same dynamic loft there as well. So yeah, it does seem to be going a bit higher with lower spin. So next we'll have a look at the 7-iron data. So same again, Pro V1 at the top, Vol ball at the bottom. Same again, total distance, carry distance, exactly the same pretty much. Ball speed, exactly the same. Club speed, slightly quicker with the Vol. Again, smashes are a little bit low. That's probably down to our flight scope. So we've got equivalent input there from the clubs. And with the Pro V1X, we were getting sort of 6,900 and a little bit. And the Vol ball was 6.6. So again, 300 or 400 RPMs lower than a Pro V1X 2019. That is what sort of you see on the course as well, along with short chip shots. It just doesn't have as much spin, but that is still a very good amount of spin in a 7-iron. So again, the Vol ball is launching higher than the Pro V1X. Something else I obviously said before, you can see that the Vol ball seems to launch a bit higher and peak height higher than the Pro V1X. You can see that there, height 132, Pro V1X 120. Vertical descent, so it's descending on a steeper angle as well, which is obviously going to help the lower spin. So yeah, it's good. It's slightly different. It's launching higher and spinning slightly less. I mean, that's what I've seen in my testing. So it could be different for other people, but this is what we've seen here today. So yeah, that's the data. That's what I managed to capture. I didn't capture any driver data because I just didn't have time, and obviously now we're in lockdown. I did hit driver on the course with the Vol ball, and I didn't see any difference in performance compared to any other ball that I used. I use Pro V1 at the moment, and you'd hit identical drives down the fairway, and they'd be next to each other in the fairway. So the one's not going further than the other. It's not lacking distance in any way. You can see the ball speed here is the same with the 7-iron as the Pro V1X. So yeah, it's a good performing golf ball. Right, so the last part of the video, we're going to end with just the good and bad parts of the Volle Golf ball and what I've found. See, the durability of this ball was ridiculous. I must have hit probably 35 wedge shots with this all in the same spot. and the cover still held up as good, or if not better than the Titleist. Like, the durability is unbelievable in this golf ball. It's probably got something to do with a little bit lower spin, just because the cover's probably a little bit harder. But yeah, in terms of the price and the durability, like, value for money is like really good. Secondly, it's a nice feeling ball. I do sort of I sort of like a harder feeling ball, so it's not too bad for me, but some people might think this is quite hard. Like, if you're using a Duo, Wilson Duo, or a Callaway Super Soft, and you buy one of these expecting it to be soft, it ain't gonna be one of those. But, you know, it is, in terms of tour sort of premium ball. It's not a Pro V1X, it's sort of in between Pro V1 and Pro V1X. It's a nice sort of feel. Thirdly, I've got, the price is unbelievable for what you get. Obviously, you've got to buy quite a lot of the balls, so you've got to buy, I think you've got to buy 2 boxes of 12. So if you're not used to buying that many golf balls at once, it could be a little bit expensive, but per ball, it's really cheap. Yeah, good performance, good profile, as we spoke about in the Flight Scope numbers. The box is really cool. It's a direct-to-consumer brand. The New Zealand's first, so it's all, you know, it's all pretty cool, man. So yeah, that would be the good parts. The bad parts, not as spinny around the greens as some of the other tour offerings, like some of the other premium ones. Slightly more checky, like some of the Bridgestones you get a really good spin with. Titleist balls, the Chrome Soft X, they're probably quite a bit more spinny than this ball. But if you want to cut some spin out of your game, and you still want all the other benefits, it's a good offer. Could be a little softer, but obviously they've only got one ball in the lineup, so there's got to be a blend of soft and hard, so it does sit quite well in the middle. The other thing I've written on here is I'm not sure if it conforms with the USGA and R&A rules. Like, I know on the back of a lot of the other golf ball manufacturers, they put that on the back, so I don't know if you can play this in competition play. Not that, you know, you can't play it in a bloody pennants match, but I don't know whether you could play that in, say, a proper tour event or something. I don't know whether that matters. That doesn't really matter, but something that just popped up. The other thing I've got written down here is the consistency with it being a direct-to-consumer ball. I don't know. I know my Golf Spy do quite a lot of tests on the direct-to-consumer balls and the Snell balls and that. They seem to do quite well. Vice balls seem to do well. Again, it's probably barely noticeable in terms of will it affect performance for your standard golfer, but again, something to think about. And that's probably about it. Like, overall value for money, it's a good ball. If you're not using a tour ball because of the price, blah de blah, it's a good option, you know. So that's a wrap, guys. Thanks for watching the video. Hopefully we can all get back playing golf as soon as possible, and we get at a level 4 and COVID just does one, because I've had enough of it now. I suppose I expect everybody else has as well. But yeah, thanks for watching, and catch you all again. See you guys.